There's something different about traveling alone. Nobody else decides where you stop or how long you stay. It's just you, your truck, and whatever waits you around the next bend. Welcome back to part 2 of the Georgia Traverse. We came to our first big obstacle. I don't know if you can see that out there. So I'm gonna try to figure out how to get around that pretty easily. I think I can. It's just that one drain pipe I'm worried about, making sure there's no sharp objects there. So give me just a second. Let me get out there and just kind of assess it right quick. Well, you wanted an adventure. Got an adventure, all right. A little bit of one. Huge rut. Try to go as close as I can over here. I don't know. I may be making a mistake. I got it. I got it. That was a pretty big rut. As mentioned, the trail's got, it's rated a 3, which is still a 3, but goodness, some of these ruts are pretty deep. You just have to pick your line really good. They said there are a lot of just Forest Service roads and pretty easy Forest Service roads. They may very well be, but I will say they're pretty hard. They're pretty, they're decently tough Forest Service roads, I think. They're not like high knob. They're a little bit tougher than those, which is fine. It's better than just, driving something boring. Makes you think about it a little bit. Oh, squirrel. Okay. And I didn't disconnect my sway bars, but I didn't think I need to. I watched several videos and people are like, you don't have to, there's no point in that, which there probably isn't. I haven't seen a need. That one rut might have been helpful with it disconnected, just to have a little bit more, but not really. I don't think. I think I might have missed a turn. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find a turnaround. All right, so now we're turning back around, going the right way. Let's get back to the way we were supposed to go. Has to be. Yeah, that's the way we go. I suppose. It's open too. Oh my, there's no way. Guys, I was a little bit too nervous to even video this, but the Trailboss actually made it up that. As you can see, I'll show you here. I didn't realize, I forgot that, I think this is Sarah's creek, possibly, I think. But I made it. It was close. I was so worried about tipping over, but it did it. I don't think there's anything else like that here. I could be wrong, but goodness, that was interesting for sure. Gosh. Anyways, let's carry on. Just glad that kind of made it up that. It's so hard to see that stuff on video, how tall it is. But the best perspective right here is it was down here and now it's up there. So anyways, let's carry on. I'm gonna die. Yeah, probably. I did it. Shoo lordy. That was scary. As mentioned, that was, gosh, that was pretty scary. I'm gonna be honest. Not really scary. I'm switching this back to 4 high. I had it in 4 low just to kind of slow it down because that's pretty steep grade. I didn't really check it, but that was really steep. So let's get on back down. I think if I got through that, I should be able to get through about anything else that this trail has to offer back down anyways. I do think, if I'm not mistaken, that we can bypass this just going back on the highway. I do hate I'd like to air back up because I think it's about 15 more miles to the next portion of the trail. Once you go to the town, that's okay though. It is what it is. There are times to know that with overlanding or this type of, trail driving, especially when you don't know what's around the next corner, that you may actually have to bypass a part of the trail. I don't know if there was construction or why they done that, but the entrance to this trail was open. And that was right towards the end of this portion of the trail. So because there was a place you could air up, air down right outside of that gate. And the rest of that trail looked very much just very sort of Forest Service roads. I just walked around the corner. So that's all right. We'll get back down to this town. I think it's Kirbyville or something like that. I think if I remember correctly. And I think the next piece that starts for the Georgia Traverse is in Toledo Falls. We'll jump on back on the trail there. So there are some pieces going back downhill that I do slightly worry about, that I may need to put it in. Hold on one second, guys. This is a little bit rough. I forgot about this section. Yep. Let me go ahead and go back to 4 high or 4 low, if it'll let me on this little steep grade. 4 low. This isn't a horrible section, but it is kind of really steep. And the brakes will give me a little bit of. Okay. I have to watch my line here. Was not as bad going up. All right. I'd like to be able to get it, I guess, to a place to camp around. Well, that sucked. That happens. I'd like to get a place to camp around no later than 7. Now we're gonna go back to this little town, back on the road that we actually went the wrong way earlier. I'm gonna air back up really quick. I might not go up to the full 37-ish PSI that I typically run. I might just put like 32 in it. Just enough to get, make sure that they're not wearing abnormally or a lot. And then drive on to Toledo Falls. Like I said, I might stop and get some gas right quick, just so I have a full tank again. But anyways, I'll catch back up with you when I get to around Toledo Falls. So guys, we made it back on the Traverse. It's on the paved section right now. That little town that we went through, it really wasn't a town. I don't really know what it was, to be honest. I have no idea. But it looks like we won't go through Toledo Falls. The town looks like maybe the campground area. It looks like we're heading towards actually dirt road at the moment. And that'll link back, of course, to some more area that we'll drive through. I got enough gas at the moment. I'm not really worried about it. If we have to go to a town, at some point we will. But right now, I think we're good on gas. So I'm just going to head on. It's about 3:30 right now. So I want to start looking, or trying to decide, here in a bit, where I'd like to camp tonight. I think I have enough time to get a little bit further along this trail or along the way. But I do, like I said, by no later than 7, I want to have decided and actually have chosen a campsite. But right now, of course, it's just paved area. Definitely don't want to, camp at a RV park, which I'm passing by at this very moment. There are some ground tents there too. That would be kind of different. I don't know if that'd be fun at all, but I'm hoping this rain will pass. It started raining a while back, I guess right after I aired up. I see some blue skies up here, so maybe as we get further along the trail, it'll clear up and it'll be nicer out. We'll just have to wait and see. But I'll touch base here with you here shortly whenever we hit the dirt again. I gotta go back to full drive. I guess we're back really on the Traverse. This one doesn't look too bad. It's a little obstacle. Again, it's one of those situations where you can't really see much. I had to bypass that one, and I'm trying to find a loop around right now, and it's getting later, so I need to find actually a place to camp too. Well, that really kind of stunk because I mean I was hopeful to get through that, but I think if I had a spotter I could have. It's just you know, I couldn't really find a good line, you know, on my own. You know, again, just tire placement. I saw where, you know, there was somebody had placed some rocks there, and I kept on kicking them out a couple times, and it was just so washed out in that one area. It looked like it had been washed out more so over time, but it is what it is. I didn't want to, you know, risk tearing the truck up, you know, and, you know, or rolling it or whatever. Which it may not have, and I may have actually made it through it because it looked like after that, just the same, that was pretty easy after that. And I think that one was actually Sarah's Creek. I thought the other one was, but it is what it is. And I think if I remember right, that was probably the hardest obstacle of that trail. But again, being by myself, I just didn't have the ability to spot it, you know, really very well, and I didn't feel comfortable, you know, proceeding. But I am now going to get back on the Georgia Traverse. I thought there might have been another trail that was close by that had some camping spots, but honestly, it's 5:30. I can make it a little bit further, and I think there might be some other camping spots, and I'm sure there is. I'm trying to keep an eye also on fuel. I thought there might be some, you know, fuel on this road since I'm on pavement right now, but there's not. So apparently North Georgia is, you know, pretty sparse. It's just pretty barren of anything. So keep that in mind. If you decide to do the Georgia Traverse and decide to come off of any of these trails,
and you think you're going to find a town, and there may be some towns closer by that I could drive a little bit further to. But again, it's 5:30. It looks like there's weather coming in. Cell phone service here, anyways, there is none. So don't have Starlink, don't have any type of way to get internet. So really can't check the weather. I think that on down the Georgia Traverse, not too far from here, there is some cell phone service. And I'm hopeful for that too, not just because I need the cell phone, but just because of weather situations and the dark clouds. I don't want to have to come off the trail. I want to be able to actually at least be on the trail as much as possible. And I hate that I had to bypass 2 sections already. The one really not necessarily my fault. It's because the gate was closed. This section, because I couldn't get through it. That was something I hate, because I actually had to bypass it because I couldn't do it. But anyways, let's try to drive this highway and then try to find dirt again. It shouldn't be too much further down here to get back on the Georgia Traverse. Well, I reached another part of the Georgia Traverse that was actually closed. It was Trey Mountain. The gate's closed off and it's pretty overgrown. And I've checked ONX several times to make sure I was going the right way. And that's what it says. So the gate's closed. The trail itself's overgrown. So I'm gonna try to bypass one more section. I haven't really had a whole lot of luck with this, to be honest. I mean, it's getting 6:30 right now. I'm gonna try to find camp here in the next little bit. I have an idea of a place in mind. It's not on this traverse. It's right outside of it. It's on the river. It should be rather easy to get to. I think if I can reach it, in time. Which, I mean, I guess I have lights. Of course, I have these really bright lights. So I'll get there. It'd be fine. I just hate setting up at night. But anyways, I'm gonna drive back out of here where I'm at the moment, which is just basically a forest gravel road. Trey Mountain Road, it was a trail. It looked kind of like maybe a little rougher. I entered it, and right at the very entrance, which I'm glad at the entrance that it was closed, versus going all the way, or going up there a little bit and then it being closed midway. That would have been another situation like earlier. But let's drive back down to the main road here and just drive on, try to get to the backside of Trey Mountain and then to the entrance to this other little trail that's more so just a campground. I don't think it's an RV park. It's more or less dispersed camping alongside a river, from what I can tell. I'm hopeful. But anyways, let's just drive there and see what it's like. Well, I have to say, I think I lucked out on this camp spot. I took a little bit of a detour off the Georgia Traverse. And this is the Chattahoochee, I believe it's Chattahoochee River campground or something, but there's dispersed camping here. Now let me show you. I mean, I know if it was winter or fall, this would be gorgeous. You could see so much. But even right now, it's really, really gorgeous. So it's gonna be really nice. Really excited just to get set up here. Got a nice little fire pit. Be perfect for the night. Tomorrow, Sunday, of course, I'm gonna see how much more I can finish of it tomorrow. I think I can get to the Frog Loop. I think I'm gonna take the north side and see where that takes me. Don't know where I'll camp tomorrow night, honestly. See how far, like I said, just see how far I get. Like, I'd like to get to the Alabama line, but if not, that's absolutely fine. We'll just see where I end up tomorrow evening. But let's go and get unpacked, get set up, get camp ready to go. I'm hungry. I haven't ate today. I actually went with the Joy Tutus camper extension, and it actually works pretty good. Bought it right before the trip because I was using a $30 camp tent or something, or a tent from Walmart, and I just slashed it up. Done it in a hurry last trip, and it just did not turn out the best. So this one, it has an awning, as you can see. And I just use the GM bed lights are on right now, of course. But it works good. It's fine. But got it set up. So thankfully it takes a minute. Goodness, I'll finally get used to it eventually.
but it's easy to take down. It's a lot easier than actually the Joy Titus tent that I had in the past. And it's airtight, but not necessarily airtight, but it's actually watertight. So that's a good thing too. All right, so now I just gotta get the fire set up and the rest of the things set up, and it's time to relax for a bit.